No one told me. That we were live. Now we are, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you everyone for coming here. Today we have Renaud, Guy, Francois, and Elena on the other side of the line joining us for the meetup. Today we have quite a few things that we're going to talk about. Some new features, some other things that we're planning that are very exciting that people have been asking us for quite some time. I'm not going to give any spoilers yet, but it's going to be exciting. There are a lot of interesting things about slices and so on. But let's get started already. So today is very cold this week, right? We had a little bit of sun last week.
Yeah.
We thought like, oh, this is spring, it's coming, and but no, this week is pretty cold.
This week, no, very cold.
Yeah,
not
very
great.
cold. So I wonder how is it going for you guys wherever you are, and what's the weather like for you? You were in Morocco.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the weekend.
Not good weather though.
Not good weather.
No, I think I'm cursed. Like I told you that. Every time I go somewhere that is supposed to be sunny, it's raining all over. So, well, good. Moroccan people were happy to get some rain. Like
You see, like rain is something. Rain is
silver
gift,
linings,
right?
Silver linings.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be in the mountains tomorrow.
I hope you'll
I'll
have sun.
some sun. That will be great. So, okay. Well, let's start with some kind of question. So it seems that in a previously unreported quote of Sam Altman, well, founder and CEO of OpenAI,
Still
GPT,
CEO.
all that.
Still CEO.
Well, yeah, right. That AI will do 95% of what marketers use agencies, strategies, and creative professionals for today. Okay, so 95% of the work that is involved in marketing will be replaced by AI. Do we agree?
I don't know. Do you agree? Okay.
Who will start? You
Okay.
asked Elena to start
Yeah.
with her opinion. Let's see.
No, sorry, I was not
It's muted.
unmuted.
We don't hear. I guess you probably you're muted. Are you here?
Okay, it's okay.
Hello? Hello?
But the Google Meet
Can you
is
hear me?
muted. I guess that's why I don't hear. Can't.
No, so
No.
so.
Okay. Well, let's start
Guy.
with.
Yeah, okay,
Guy.
okay.
Guy.
all right. So I think I said no to replacing 95% of the work of marketers and agencies and things like that. I guess I don't want to play a game of like words or whatever, but it's like, is it the work that they do right now, or is it like just in the future, etc. as well? Because I guess there's all the kind of new stuff that could be created, or new work and stuff that they could do that I'm not sure AI could necessarily replace.
Yeah. Well, Alex says, "Oh, the guy selling AI says AI is the answer." I'm skeptical.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I don't know. Honestly, like that kind
You
of
don't
answer, I really don't know. Like, I think it's about like, what does it mean replacing 95% of the work? What is the timeline? The thing is, might replace 95% of the work, but like new work is being created. Like
Yeah.
we were discussing Mad Men
yeah,
before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like-
I want to go back rather than go forward.
Like you would prefer to get back to
Yeah, I'd
get
prefer to go back.
whiskey
Yeah, I'd
and,
rather be Don Draper. Yeah.
and cigarettes in the
Yeah,
office than
yeah.
than-
Doing things on paper, well, these big posters and stuff like that of ad campaigns.
Yeah, so all that was replaced by like a new type of activity in marketing. Like I guess a performance marketer today is not the same as Don Draper at the time. Like
Well, if you look at it, there are several things that. Okay, let's see what is inside marketing, right? There's a lot of content work that will be accelerated a lot by AI, and we see more and more of that happening, of tooling that allow people to create content more quickly. So that's going to be taken by AI for some part. There is all the performance marketing, with optimization for websites, SEO, blogs, all of that. I think AI is going to do a very good job. at optimizing a website and finding the right combination of content for serving certain, certain users. Can talk about personalization and all these kind of things. So I think there's the good share of for that. Now, if we're talking about agencies, what do agencies do? I guess there's a lot of creation process. But to me, it's always the same answer. I'm not finding anything new to answer this, but there is something that what matters for performance is things to be relatable, right, to the audience. Like I have an audience and I need things to be relatable to that. And today agencies play this kind of role of understanding the audience and say, okay, this is how you can address your audience. And that will not be, it's very hard to replace it with AI, because you need to designate the groups, saying, okay, these are the groups that I am targeting, and then go fetch information about these groups, and then say, okay, well, it seems that they care about that. From then on, how you shape the content for what you analyzed, I guess AI can play a big role. But I think there are still things that you have to go through agencies. Even like, if you talk about agencies that produce websites, the main part of their job is the branding exercise, and that branding exercise, you need a human being there to relate to other human being, I guess, because that's experience. So I think that a big part will be taken. Still, there are other things that will appear instead. That's what you guys said. There are other things, like anytime we feel that we have space, then we say, okay, let's move to the next step. So there will be other things that we'll be doing.
Yeah, they could be twice as performant as they are today. So.
Right?
Yeah.
Totally.
And I guess there's always someone working with the AI, right? Like prompting it, feeding it things and stuff like that. So there's a lot more work around.
It's not easy, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Prompting AI, it's not so obvious. So you need someone to be able to understand how to use the tools and get things done.
Is it good for Alena? You think?
Hey.
What do you think, Alena? No, we don't know.
Yeah. So I think it's
Okay. But let us know when she's done then.
No, you don't hear anything?
It's gonna be
like.
But she needs to unmute herself in the call, Alena. She's muted in the call.
That's what I asked in the beginning. Yeah. So should I?
She hears you. Huh?
okay. That's
Okay.
Hey.
In both places. Okay. So I think for me it's more around the timeline. It's just a question of when, I guess, and how we will how fast it's going to progress, because right now there are things that can be taken over, but they only get to maybe 80% with AI, and I think we need to figure out how to get to that additional 20%, and that's going to take a while.
Yeah, I was saying earlier as a joke, like 95% seems to be a bit ambitious as of today. Like AI looks like a lot like an intern. That's how I describe it to my mom or to people that basically don't believe in this. And like I was saying, except if 95% of the work in agency and creative work are interns, actually. I don't know if it's they are going to replace it fast. Like it's more a bigger timeline, as you said.
But definitely, many things that today are done in a more manual way and with a lot of manual processes are going to be automated in a certain way, and that's great. That's a lot of more space to do other interesting stuff. Now, I guess I like also the point that today we can get it like maybe AI to be 60% good or 70% good, and you're very generous, Alena, say 80% good, but. So we still have to shape that. So anyway, we have a lot. It's an exciting time to work together to be augmented with AI, I guess. But we still have a lot of things that need to happen in the products to target that. So moving from this topic, what do you have for us today?
But generally speaking, like we've launched this new format of a quarterly recap of everything that we release in product. So some things that you might have seen already, some new things. The goal is to wrap up the quarter and open up a new one, and so give you a glimpse of what we'll be building in the next quarter. So today we'll recap basically everything that we've done. We'll start with the update on what we've done on the migration API side, and open up a bit on other agentic topic. We'll talk about the platform and the role of the platform team supporting different squads. We'll talk about the page building experience, mainly focus on the media library. We'll talk about some AI features that we released this quarter and improvement on the developer tools and developer experience.
Upcoming improvements.
Both of them, what we've done and what we'll do.
Cool. What do you want to start with?
So we wanted to start with Elena and the migration API and update you on where we stand currently. And so, Elena, I'll let you lead from here.
Just before you start, Elena, I want to tell everyone that this is your moment. You can use the chat to tell us, to interact with whatever we're saying here, or some other things that you want us to address. Will allow us to give you the perspective of why we do things in a certain way, and tell you about our future plans, and get your feedback and integrate it into whatever we're doing. So, use your keyboards, tell us what you think, and we're going to interact with that. Elena,
if you have a very important problem that you want us to look at, please let us know. Migration API was a very big problem before, like the migration to Prismic was a very big problem.
Yes, and hopefully now it is not such a problem anymore. So first thing I want to mention was to make sure that you are aware. We do have the option, everyone has the option in their repo, if they go to the migration releases screen, they can click on Try Migration API, and you'll get instructions on how you can make the first call. You also get a key, because at the moment we still need a key in order to make requests. And here you have a demo key that you can use, so you can already try it out. You don't have to wait for me to actually send you a key via to sign up for the waitlist and kind of wait for me to send you a key, because it's not always instantaneous, unfortunately. And yeah, this way you can already try it out, and you can get a feel for how it works. So that's the first thing I want to mention. The next topic is basically, we have done a bunch of stuff in order to enhance kind of not only the ability to migrate, but also the ability to bulk update in the recent months. And one of the things that we have done is that we have made it possible to not only look at a list of your documents that you have in the migration release. So right here, this is a migration release. These are documents that I have created or updated via the migration API. You can now actually click in and look at those documents. So this is highly requested. Initially, we did not add this, but it of course is great to be able to look and just verify that your data looks right and that your fields are working. And also for your marketers, for them to be able to see if there is actually a document that's has a version in the migration release, which they can see here on this nice version panel. So you can switch back and forth basically between the, in this example, it's a document that's planned in a release and the version in the migration release. So this here as well is something that you couldn't do previously. So previously, if a document was not yet published, if it was a draft, if it was in a release and not yet published before, you could not update it via an update request on the API, and now you can. And basically, you'll get a new version that's in your migration release. The original version stays untouched until you publish it, but it helps to create visibility on the different versions that are existing, and also helps you to kind of manage those two different versions much easier. So that is something that you can do now. I will just do a very quick demo. So, and that's one. I will demonstrate here a draft. So here I'm updating an existing draft version. I'm going to go back and show you that that also ends up in the migration release. And you can see that here's my edited version, here's my migration release version, and they're different. So very light, very light demo here, but that's what we've worked on, and I think that that really improves the flow in terms of bulk updates. Also to mention, because our import-export tool is going away. So our import-export tool is being deprecated, and the migration API is replacing the import-export tool. And in preparation of that, we've also introduced support for integration fields and support for legacy slices in the migration API. So basically we have parity on everything that you could do in import-export. You can now do via migration API or the complementary ACID API, and yes. So that is in place right now, and we also in terms of, should I talk about Q2 already or no?
You
Well, already for what you've done already, and I know that you are constantly in contact with companies and agencies and users that want or that are using the migration API. Can you tell us a few examples of use cases where API migration API could be useful?
Oh yeah, so definitely we've had a number of use cases where it was really about a bulk update, like, hey, I just want to even just I want to change the tags on my documents, and
Nice.
I can do that within maybe an hour using the API versus doing that manually, which would have taken 9 or 10 hours. So we
mass
have had
updates, yeah.
we've had feedback, like we've had number of users with like kind of these one-off bulk update cases. Also, of course, like users that now are moving from legacy slices to slice machine, and then they instead of doing that in their existing repo and potentially having some issues with their production repo, they've actually created new repos, and they've used migration API to then create all the assets and the documents within the new repos, so that they kind of have this fresh new version that they created. So that we've heard a lot of, and really translations as well, although it's the migration API is not 100% suited for translation workflows, but we definitely had a number of people already doing translation work on the import-export tool, and now they're kind of transitioning over to using migration API for that. So it's kind of these not a huge volume, but regular updates that they're doing then via the migration API.
Why you're saying that the migration API is not the perfect tool for translations?
So basically, if we had to dream up the perfect tool for translations, I think we would have a way of kind of promoting a certain document or a draft document, saying, hey, this one is up for translation, and then kind of allowing our users to maybe connect with their translation software, send those documents that they mark ready for translation to the translation software, and then basically have a seamless integration to get translations back into Prismic, and alerting our users to say, now you can check the translation and approve it or put it live. With the migration API, it's not as fluid as that. So there's no integration with translation software.
Yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yet. But,
So that's why now I understand. Cool.
we hope it's coming. But
And so you talked about volume. You said like translation is a small volume. Like what does it correspond in terms of volume as of today? The migration API.
So we had 20K documents in March. We're having we're seeing more and more people using it for the first time. So really, either just to test it out, make a handful of calls, or making these kind of bulk update calls. So maybe using it once for a week, and then they're done, and they've completed their need. But we're definitely seeing a very steady volume and steadily increasing volume. So where we had maybe 5 or 6 repos using this 4 or 5 months ago, we're seeing 30, 40 repos using that today.
And by the way, when we started implementing migration API, we were like one of their use cases, if I remember correctly, was about moving from legacy systems or like legacy CMSs they have. Do we still see these kind of cases?
So the thing is that it's not always visible for us if that's the actual use case. So we definitely in our revenue team, in the solution engineering team, we do hear of cases where someone's coming from WordPress or another CMS, and they want to then move to Prismic. So those are migration cases, and in a lot of other cases, it might not be clients or users that we have direct contact with. So it's hard to tell how many are coming from that at this moment.
But you do hear of it.
Yeah, working on getting better at kind of understanding what the use case is.
Cool.
So what's next? What's the plan next now? Because you said like a lot of things that we've done this quarter in the past one. So what's next?
Yeah. So what's next is that we're really now looking to, because we're moving away from import export tool, and we know that we have a lot of users that have used import export tool for quite a while, and we've been hearing from those users, hey, can you give us some support? Can you give us a kind of a guide, a way forward? And so basically one of our goals for Q2 is to get users to success, or to making calls with low errors faster. So we want to make the process smoother. We want to make it more clear how you can go through the steps. And that's what we're working on with, I guess, documentation, communication, and tools. When I say tools, probably in the first instance, some more simple scripts, just to give you examples of how you can accomplish this task within with the API, and moving forward, getting more sophisticated on that level. So with tooling that really is not just helping you through the process, but is kind of facilitating that process.
And getting it live to everyone when you
Yes.
foresee it.
Yes, and getting it live to everyone. I'm going to turn it over to Francois.
So because like one of the big important topic of the platform team, so Francois is product manager of the platform team, was to support this migration API topic, and one of the big items is actually to get that to all of our users, because as of today, as you said, it's in beta. So what are the challenges today?
So everyone, hello. So I'm glad to be here. So the main challenge that we have with the migration API currently is like scaling challenge. So as Alena said, they already have identified 20K documents created a month. And if we look at this number over the total number of documents that we are having created every month, which is around 100, we see that it's already accounting for a big amount of documents that we are currently having. We are anticipating that there will be even more. And so since our system was always since the beginning optimized toward reading, because with this 100K documents created a month, we are delivering like I think it's 36 billions of API calls a month. now with this new trend of the migration API, we want to optimize the writing part of our system. And so we identified one of the bottleneck actually in our system, which is one of our database. And so the basic idea is that we want to change it.
Okay.
So this database was a database that was created, I think, from the beginning of Prismic history. I guess Sadek was part of it. And now it was internally built, and now we want to replace it by a more standard solution.
Okay.
Voilà.
And so this standard solution will allow us to scale like the right?
Yes.
So that we can have this use case of everyone can programmatically create documents.
Yes. So the goal is to maintain the high level of delivering documents, but also we want to be able to create up to 200 documents a second if needed by the use case.
And so that's the main topic at the moment, and engaged for quite some time now. Like
yeah, we started working on it on Q3. So we are now getting close to the end. So the idea is that in a month or two of time, we should be able to finish that topic and allow our system to scale better, higher, and then Elena will be able to release definitely the migration API.
That's cool. And so, like, how do we ensure on this process that like migrating all this data will be seamless for our customer and all this kind of stuff? Can you touch on it quickly?
Yeah. So our amazing engineering team came up with a solution that we call the shadowing. So the main idea is that we want to maintain the old database while plugging the new database. And so for a while, I think it will take easily a month. We will perform, we will do, I would say that, the same incorporation of the operation between the old database and the new one. And we will measure difference. And the idea is that we reduce the number of differences, and when we feel confident, so we believe after 2 weeks, we will just switch to the new database. And doing this way, we will know that actually we perform exactly the same way as the one before.
That's super cool. And so, yeah, that's the work of the platform team on the migration API. What are the other items that you worked on during the quarter?
So the platform team, so as we already said, ensure that we have a good performance on the content API, but also we want to support all the product squad internally in delivering good quality code in full autonomy, and at speed, at scale.
For the people that are listening to us, basically the way Prismic is organized is that we have a team that works on the page builder, a team that works on the slice machine, on the dev tools, a team that works on the agency, the team of Elena typically, related topic. And the goal is for us that those teams are capable of delivering new features and solve needs depending on their own goal and do it as autonomously as possible. And so the platform team main goal is actually to make those teams completely independent and autonomous.
And actually just changing the database, as we said, we simplify the architecture of the internal architecture of the system. And by doing this way, we will improve the autonomy of each team.
And that's something that often doesn't show in the product, but we've been doing a whole organization work so that we can now deliver faster and solve your problem faster. I guess this is now surfacing, but the whole work of organization is not visible in a way. But the fact that we can do these quarterly calls and show you like on a quarterly basis all the new features that we are going to show you is a result of the work of this organization, a result of the work of the platform team creating more autonomy for the squads, and the result of the squads owning more and more of their system to be able to be extremely fast.
And one of the side products that we are bringing with the new this new database is that we will help also other teams to have a better search, because we are touching also the search in this story. And so if take an example of the page build team, if they rely on the search feature, they will be able to tweak it and have a better experience in searching.
And so, but maybe a very good transition
Yeah,
to
it's a
the
good
page
segue,
builder. I
yeah.
don't know if Alena, you wanted to add anything on the migration API or any topic.
Just to say that we are also doing research around reusability for specific
So, I'll plug the research at the end, all the research item. We have a different research item that we want to. We need you. Basically, like as Sadek said, it's also your place to actually come and tell us what you think is important. But it's not the only channel on which we are getting feedback. It's mainly, it's not the main channel. We have different ones on the forum, on the support. But also we organize a few research projects. And we have a few ones at the moment. Being survey, being research on reusability. We'll drop the links in the chat because we really need your help to be able to interact and chat about those topics to understand the criticality of it. Have you assessing early concepts also? Have you help us designing the new features and actually building the product with us? So maybe in the chat, reusability research would be good. But let's go back to how the platform team is helping the page builder releasing their topic and what you've done in the quarter, guy.
So I guess
maybe
sorry, Sadek.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe before we jump into this. Do we have any questions on the chat or?
Nope.
No questions about the migration API. No question about the platform. No question about this.
Nope.
Okay, but then page builder.
Cool. So yeah, I guess we've spoken on the meetup quite a few times about the media library project that the page builder team has been working on. And so I guess in terms of like what Francois has been talking about with the Prismic DB migration, all that sort of stuff, as part of the media library project, there was also a migration. So essentially, we were extracting like the assets out of this old monolith in Vroom. And now we have this new asset service, and basically what that enables us to do is add all of these new features, enables us to quickly iterate and stuff like that. And so this quarter we had the support of the platform team in performing that migration. I guess it was a good, you're talking about dry runs, but like a good practice for your team as well in terms of...
It was like, I would say, a migration at a lower scale because we only had to migrate assets. And so, yeah, it was a good training for us, and then we will be able to apply all the lessons that we learned during this migration.
And also, one of the good things for us is the search that we're using in the new media library is something that we want to use in the new DB and in the document list and stuff like that. So we kind of get to tune it, optimize that as well, kind of have some experience with that new search, and then obviously we'll transfer that to the document list and then content relationships and all the other places that we use search in Prismic. So that's pretty cool.
Okay, that's nice. And so what have we done in the media library then?
Yeah, so I guess the main thing for us in the media library has been this, well, the first step has been this new search. So it's in production. We've been tweaking it. There's a few things that we're adding at the moment. So I think we demoed maybe a couple of weeks ago or something like that, this concept of the highlight. So now we're trying to highlight, your search results, so you know why something's being returned. We're also adding that highlight to the metadata and to all the other places within your search results. So if you see something and you look in the metadata, you can understand why you have that result. And again, just optimizing and tweaking the kind of ranking and prioritization of different results. So it's under a feature flag at the moment, and we're progressively rolling that out. So people with the page builder, you should start seeing that new search soon, and then the tags and things like that pretty soon after as well. But we want to make sure that the search experience is good, that people are kind of happy with that before we release the other features on top of that.
So if people want to have access like earlier than what you've planned, what do they do?
So I believe there's a page somewhere where you can provide us with your details, and we'll have something in the media library as well around requesting access. So there'll be a couple of different places where you can come to get early access.
So that's the search. You talk quickly about the tags. So what does it mean?
Yeah, so I guess just on top of the search, essentially like what we're optimizing for at the moment is just around when you're working in the context of a page, making it super easy to find what you're looking for. Or again, if you're working in a really big repo that you share with lots of your colleagues and stuff like that, that maybe you can filter through and find some of the stuff that they've uploaded that they've used in other pages and stuff. So yeah, basically trying to improve your workflow, make things easier, more efficient, and stuff like that. So that's the big one for this quarter, has been around the media library, this migration, the new search, then the filtering, the tags, etc. And then one of the other priorities for our team as well is obviously we have this awesome new tool, the page builder. We want everyone to be able to use this and move away from what we call the legacy editor. So we've been working on supporting some of the features from the legacy editor in the page builder. So two big ones that we worked on this quarter. One was integration fields. So if you are on a repo that has integration fields are now supported in the page builder. And then the other one was within a rich text, being able to create custom labels on your text. So yeah, those are the two other things that we've added this quarter.
I wanted to maybe stop quickly on this one. Like, can you explain very quickly what is the purpose of rich text labels? And I'm gonna connect with one question that one user asked in the chat about bulleted list and nested item, or more options on the rich text. That is a bit like, how do you say? I think they use the term subpar in the chat. So what is the strategy here?
So I guess with regards to like custom labels, there are cases where developers want to give I guess some enhanced like functionality to their content editors in terms of like some custom spans or formatting that isn't supported within the rich text. So they can create these custom labels to be able to do that. So maybe adding highlights or things like that. So yeah, that's I guess the primary sort of case for the custom labels. And I guess with regards to the nested listing or the kind of listing experience, it's on our radar, and I think it's something that might be touched on with some of the work that DevTools is doing. Maybe if that's a spoiler or not, but I'm not sure.
No.
Okay.
I think generally the strategy anyway from rich text labels is that we want to.
I guess do away with them.
Like
sorry, and support it.
Standardize like all the main use cases for the rich text labels in the rich text. Like typically, we know that you use it for code spans in line. We know that you use it for quote. We know that we use it for cases that are not supported in the rich text, and we want to enrich the rich text as much as possible so that we get rid of the main use cases, but and they might be still relevant for some of those use cases that we'll study and just like might integrate.
Yeah.
And the question, since you're talking rich text, Andre is asking, what about tables?
What about tables?
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting topic. Tables is a case that we have on our radar for quite some time. We didn't have the time to address it. What we'll be able to talk about at the end of this meetup, and so quick spoiler, is the fact that with Slice Machine at the moment we are looking at the Slice Machine team. We are looking at let's say the limitation when it comes down to content modeling in Prismic. A lot of you guys have asked, a lot of guys and girls all have asked like to have more nested options in terms of content modeling. And when we actually ask more questions and deep dive into the topic, there is a few use cases that just pop up, and table type of content is one of them. So in the way of addressing this nested, let's say those modeling limitation and nested item in terms of slice, we've identified tables as one of the items that we should work on, and so we are going to look at it a bit more seriously in the next 3 to 6 months.
So anyway, stay around, because we're talking about the different things that the more capabilities that we want to ship in Slice Machine and then a page builder, including tables, but there are other examples. So if you're interested in having more sophistication to the modeling with slices, then we're going to talk about it.
And talk about it quickly today and in details during the quarter.
Yes, this is a topic that we're addressing
at the moment. Yes, that's it's the main priority that the Slice Machine team is going to open for the next 3 months.
So you said we are supporting I'm going back. Integration field.
Yeah.
And the new page builder.
Yeah.
With a preview. So
No.
if I have a slice that uses integration field, will the preview show it?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So not at this stage. So the first iteration of the feature is just around supporting the field, and then there's a future piece of work that we need to do for the live preview component of slices with integration fields.
Right. So because, okay, yeah, and I'm here. I'm talking of course not the
Yeah.
preview as in the full
Prismic
page preview,
Yeah.
but rather than the
yeah.
slice preview, the
Mm.
table of slices.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things we need to optimize, is just making sure that by having integration fields and having that in the model, that it doesn't break anything in the preview, and then we'll iterate on that.
Yes, great. There is another question that we had, which is not directly related, but it's more about where is that question? I guess I can find it somewhere else. There it is. From Alex Waller. Slice templates would be a great addition. So if you want to use the same slice and content on multiple pages, you can type the content once and reuse everywhere on the site, or change in one place. Is it something that we're looking at?
It's a very good idea. It's not something that we are looking at the time, like currently, but that's something that we discussed in the team, that we have even, I guess, designs and prototypes about.
Yeah.
So it's something that is clearly on our radar, something that we are discussing internally. It's not going to be let's say a focus for the next 3 months, but it's really something that we rank high and that we have in our mind, and we think it's a very good idea.
I would like to actually also ask the question to Alex, like,
what are the use cases? Yeah.
What's the use case? So if you want to have slice that you can use together with its content, there are certain things that come to mind, like a banner or something, call to action maybe.
Forms.
But please tell us what are the use cases of this? What are the things that you're facing that you would need a reusable slice with its own content? So please let us know this so that we consider that.
Clearly.
Sorry. So there is another question here. How quick can I spin Prismic with React Native, if possible?
Quick, I would say.
Does Prismic work with React Native?
Now, so does Prismic work with React Native? Yes, it does. Does it work with technology like Flutter? Yes, it works to an extent. The thing is that we have optimized our work and the experience to actually build website as much as possible. So the whole page building experience that you just saw before in the demo with the live preview and all won't work if you're using React Native or if you're using a technology like Flutter. So it's really working with like the most standard and common technology to build website, like Nextjs, like Nextjs, like SvelteKit as of today. So it's not really meant for this. We would not recommend it for, but like you can make it work by using the React client and the clients that we have.
Right.
The thing is that since we are not optimizing for those cases, you're going to be very likely on your own, because we don't have documentation, we don't have support on those fronts. So again, it's about our strategy that was to very.
But if I'm doing it, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understood. We are focusing on websites.
Yep.
So question, is it for building a website, something that looks like a website, has pages and sections, all of that? Imagine the answer is yes.
Yes. Then you can still use it. You won't have the live preview though, and at the end, like, we don't, since it's not our main use case, you will find some hurdles. You will have some issues. But yes, it works. It works, and we won't be the first one to actually do it. We have quite a lot of users that are doing it. We have a community of people that you can reach out to so that you can get support, and it will work, because at the end, we have an API, we have an SDK in JavaScript, we have like a few components in React that you can reuse to be able to actually render the content and to get help. It's not as optimal as if you were using Next or Nuxt, for example, but yeah, you should be able to do it fairly easily. And actually, I have done it myself, and I'm not a developer, so it can testify on the fact that you should be able to do it fairly fast.
Cool. There's another question that I would like to answer. Exberna, what are integration fields? So simply integrate, so the main use case we introduced integration fields for was integrating with e-commerce, right? Often we have a lot of users and clients that have a big catalog of products, and they want to feature these products inside their pages. Like sometimes you would have a category page, and you want to link it to certain products, or you need to feature products on the home page, or have product pages that are enriched. So for instance, I have a product. When I go to the address of the product, I don't want only to see the product profile, but I want to see some inspiration content about it. So for all these kind of cases, we have what we call integration field. It's a field for which the content comes from another source. So for instance, you can get this field added to your page. You say, in this area, I would like to have the product description. And you say you're going to choose the product from the catalog of product that is connected to Shopify, for instance. And this way, we allow you to choose from all the products that you have in Shopify or other places, and choose the product that you want to put in this page. And then we fetch the content for you, and we send it to you to the API. So basically, by configuring the integration field, you'll be able to have your products inside Prismic and then deliver to the API. You'll not have to scale it. You'll not have to do any of that. We'll do it for you. And a lot of users love this feature because it simplifies the integration between Prismic and e-commerce platforms.
And we can add also that we are fetching the content on a regular basis. It means that if you change anything, like for example a price, the price will also reflect on your website automatically without updating it yourself.
Yeah. You keep your source of truth, that would be the catalog, the Shopify in that case.
Cool. I have
any other question?
Yes. Well, there are two other points. Let me take one, and then we move. Is Astro.js on the radar?
It's on the radar. We are not working actively on it though. Like, we are at the moment exploring our few options on should we open another technology as of today, how to open technologies, which technology. So our main direction that we are discussing at the moment is not to open ourselves Astro or Remix, that are two big contenders on the table, but more on how can we set proper guidelines, scoring cards, and process to be able to allow the community to actually create their own integration so that we can promote them. And it's more the path that we are exploring at the moment. We should hear some news on that front on the next quarter. But
so I would like. So first of all, we love Astro and Remix, and basically recently we integrated with Svelte, and our integration is pretty good on Svelte, and so very solid, and you have the full features. But with Prismic, you have several things that you get, right? It's not just the API and you fetch it and you throw it in the framework. There is the preview that you have in the editor, these kind of table of slices, and we want your experience to be really good for Astro and Remix, so that you extend that good experience that we love about these kind of frameworks. It's on our radar. We want to see how can we get this to be efficient, and how the community can help us support, because there are more and more frameworks, and we won't be able to support the great frameworks that we have there.
And so that's what we are exploring at the moment. You should hear some news on that front in the next few months. Like on, the work that we are engaging internally is how can we qualify what is a good integration? How can we
we need to score it, right?
Evaluate it, score it, have this kind of process that will allow us to open a new technology and make it explicit to customer if the technology is to our standard, or at least what we consider to our standard. If it's not, what are the downsides of what do we consider not being to our standards, and what you will let on the table by going with a specific integration. And so that's what we are working on currently.
So we'd like to have some kind of guidance, like imagine a table where you would say like, okay, this framework with the score of integration, of a 5-star integration. Okay, which means it has everything that we offer. The other framework, well, you're going to miss this and that and that. This way, you make your choices with clarity. So we'd like to provide that kind of guidance. It's a good idea. Okay, well, I guess it's good that we move forward. We still have a few questions, but it's good to move forward with the schedule, and we'll get back to the questions after.
Okay. So I think we've talked about what we've done in this quarter for Page Builder.
I guess it would be good just maybe to give a quick teaser
of what's coming
in Q2. So I guess we mentioned the search. So we want to bring the new search to Prismic, and I think we have maybe some overlays or something we can show. So just some concepts that we're exploring for the search and the document list. So there's like a modal that we want to use in the...
I think this is the search of the media library.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about the other search.
Yeah, we're talking about the search and
page search.
The page search.
The document search, page search.
But yeah, while we wait for that, the other thing as well, a feature. Here we go.
Nice.
So we have this. So this is the new document list. So this is something that we'll be releasing in Q2 as well. And as part of that, there's the search. So when you start searching, there's like a modal in the top right-hand corner, and you can see basically, the search and the document name and all that sort of stuff. And then we have this in-content search. And basically, like with the in-content search, it will show you where your search term is referenced.
So this is very, there's something important here to say, because search, like page search, is something that is highly requested, an improvement on the page search that we have.
Yeah.
And if you look at search, actually, in a lot of cases, it's more about the experience than the actual technicality of the search. Because like if you look at your website, then there are a lot of terms that are repeating, right? Like if you look at the Prismic's website, a lot of pages will have things about, talking about developers, talking about page builder, most of the pages will bring up these kind of things, right? So imagine I'm looking for something on one page that is mentioning page builder. You'll have a lot of them. And then you'll be lost. Like, okay, I don't know which one of it. How can I know that it's the page that I'm looking for? And it's about providing context of why is this result here, and where did we find that term? Is it in the title of the page? Is it somewhere else? And how relevant it is to my search? So a lot of it not is in the technology, how we find things, but also in
how we
in the context.
Show the results exactly in the context. And so what we were trying to show before is basically like a concept that we've been testing with our users. And basically like what we've been trying to understand is like their mental model of search and what it is that they want returned as kind of the top results. And then the second part as well is around, are things like in-content search valuable for them? So seeing where in a page a search term is referenced. So yeah, that's what we've been examining this quarter.
Very cool. But anyway, I guess it's very, I would say, I'm sure a lot of people are happy about the fact that we're working on the search, because even if it's not the most fancy feature that you would ask in a CMS, still it's so central to the experience. So
yeah,
glad that we're working on
one of the most requested features. So yeah, I'm sure lots of people will be happy.
Yeah.
Is that it?
No, and then the other one, so I think this is the thing that we had up before on the screen, but a feature that we've talked about before, which is team spaces, which is essentially the ability to group different types of custom types together and kind of create these spaces for different groups or different people within your repository. So for your marketing team, maybe for your content team who's working on a blog, and then basically set permissions for that as well, so they can have different roles, so you can have some better kind of safeguarding and better processes in place around who can access and publish and things like that across a repo. So that's another one that we're working on in Q2.
Did we already talk about the team spaces in the meetup?
I think maybe we just teased it. I'm not sure. So maybe I did a too quick a run through there.
and so those are the things that we are going to work on. So basically a good balance a bit in the continuation that what we've done, like solving some of the core issues and some of the most requested feature, and start to also support new use cases that some of the growing teams that are using Prismic are actually struggling with. Like typically we have a lot of small companies, startups, or even big company that start with the small use cases, and then because they love Prismic and they grow the usage of it, invest more into it, and so they arrive at some point where managing the organization and the governance of the content and the all access rights and even the access to the content becomes complicated, and so that's why we prioritize this team space topic. That's also typically why translation integration is also something on our radar. We know it's a common use case for a growing team to actually address it, and so that's why we discussed it a bit earlier today. So like we are striving to find the right balance between finding core needs of the usage of the solution, plus like supporting growing teams more and more. And on top of that, we are also investing in some innovation on the page building experience, and trying to address some new use cases of marketing team by leveraging AI as much as possible. And we are introducing in the page builder new features. So in this quarter, we've done 3 big chunk of works. Features that we call prompt to slice, iterate on slice, and a new one that we call the smart copy paste. And I think it's the first time that we'll introduce this feature. So just to recap what we are doing, what is prompt to slice. So we've introduced a feature in Prismic. So you all know slices. It's basically those sections. And we've introduced in Prismic a way for marketing team, but also developer, to create and to generate slice content thanks to prompt. So if you can, it's not the proper demo that is showing up in the screen. Prompt to slice, please. No. No, not this one. Please. I just have this one. Okay, so we'll talk about prompt to slice very quickly. It's a feature that allows you when you.
I think this is why we don't have a demo. It will be hard to kind of reason about it. Let's talk about the smart copy paste, and we in another one we'll
reintroduce prompt to slice and iterate on slice. You can access it in the chronicles of last month if you want to see a demo. Maybe we can drop the link in the chat.
Yeah.
But so we've worked on this, and now so what Pierre was showing is basically a simple feature. We all know that most of your teams are collaborating and working in other tools before Prismic when creating content. Typically, you might use Notion or Google Doc, and that's the case of most of the team that we are working in. In our case, actually, we are working in Notion, and you can see here that I selected a document from the migration API document. And what I'm going to do is to use this AI smart copy paste feature and basically paste the content from my Notion doc and select sections from the doc and associate the proper slice. And by doing this, I will be able to basically move the content and transform a Notion document into slices into Prismic page in the matter of seconds, I would say, unless less than a minute. While usually doing this work, I would have to select the title, then select the description, then select the label.
Lot of tedious copy paste.
And it can take like up to 10 minutes to do the same work. So we are like kind of dividing the work by 10 in doing this effort. And for that, we are leveraging AI to actually just paste the content in the right spot for the given slice. We want to go even further in the future to detect which slice is the most relevant for the type of content and come up with a recommendation. But already today we are trying to apply AI and this kind of technology to some of the problems that you are encountering on a day-to-day basis, and simplifying all your work and bringing way more productivity. So that's feature that is in beta today. So if you want to have access to it, you can request actually the feature on the page that is going to be pasted here, and in your page builder. Actually, today you might see a big banner that says like want to get AI feature and request it here. You had a question, Sadek?
Not a question. Just saying, often when you start writing content, you write it without structure, right? It's more you're focusing on the content, so you write it, as you said, Notion, Google Docs, depends. A lot of people use Google Docs actually for that. And then it's moment that you want to see it as a page. and that, as you said, is tedious. Copy paste of everything inside the field, and here we do all the work for you. So magically your Notion document or Google Doc, when you copy paste it, it becomes slices and it becomes a page, and then you have this kind of visual preview of it. We believe, as you said, it's going to reduce the time by 10, divided by 10, which is cool, and it's pretty precise. I mean, since it's going through AI, you might think like, okay, will it be exactly what I wrote? Will it find the right field? Will it find the right slice and all of these kind of things? And
that's
the test that you did.
It's like a lot of tests, and that's the actually the funniest part about working with AI. We have a talk tomorrow between PM on what are the implications of working with AI, and that's the kind of thing that is very interesting, and at the same time like mind bugging is like you come from a paradigm where in IT like input equals output like all the time, like if you enter something it does the same action, and now with AI it doesn't. And so how do you come to actually find the proper amount of testing and prompt engineering to basically get the best
Stabilize
results?
it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And that's super interesting. So yes, smart copy paste.
What if people want the smart copy paste?
I think we dropped a link, no, on the chat. Yeah, we dropped a link on the chat, and I will open it for you and over time. So yeah, please reach out and go to that link if you want to have access to the feature.
Cool.
We'll continue to work on that, iterate on those features and work on new ones for the next quarter. That's our goal, and keep you updating and keep you updating on the next meetups.
Cool. Okay.
Any questions?
Well, let's keep the rhythm because we are beyond 1 hour, and I would like us to go to the next one.
You want the next one?
Well, it's good that we cover it.
No, for sure. It's very good. So on DevTools, what we've done during the quarter, we've done a few things. Basically, we've worked on a few improvements and on the developer experience and stabilizing a bit the solution. The main changes that we brought typically a new feature that is the autosave. It's something that a lot of you requested. Typically in Slice Machine, every time you were working on a model, you had an issue. You had to save your model to ensure that they were kept that they were kept and stored in your code. And we've just improved that overall experience and making it more seamless by having this continuous autosave feature that basically every time you change your model will save your changes. It's a first step in the direction of having as much as possible in your development environment an auto sync in a way for you as a developer to actually like have your model always up to date to Prismic so that you can iterate fast and reshape the whole developer experience. But that's one thing. The second thing that was very important for us and that we discovered during interviews with you guys was the fact that most of the time you never work with a full interface and a full screen interface. So very often you have your code, you have the page, you have the Slice Machine all together, and you are like working on Slice Machine alongside your code. And we also back that with data. A lot of you don't work with the regular and let's say standard UI. And so we made Slice Machine responsive so that you can actually work with Slice Machine very close to your code and have it like fitting basically the way you work and fitting your use cases. And so with the latest version, this is now accessible for all of you. You can now have a Slice Machine version that is responsive and for which you can now work like close to your code. And during the quarter, we also did a lot of experimentation, research, fixing a lot of bugs. And this led us to open the topic for next quarter that is very important to most of you, because that's also something that we detected in research, like what is the most important topic for you. And it's about limitation in the content modeling. I would prefer that we show the other image that I sent. Yeah, that one. Typically, one of the cases that we have today and that people are complaining and are asking us to be better at is this kind of cases. If you want to build a slice like this one, like the DigitalOcean one that has like these tabs, a title, and a set of logo with name of technology, it's a struggle. You have to work around limitation. You have to do content relationship, have different slices, link documents. It's very complicated. And you have a lot of cases like this one, cases when you have like multiple buttons in a slice, like FAQ, like tables, like image gallery. All these cases of modeling that are fairly limited because Prismic offer only one way of nesting item or having repeatable item in slices. And so we've researched all this, we listed the use cases, all these kind of use cases, and we came about making this a priority for us in the next quarter and starting to address all those content modeling limitation and defining a plan to solve them. So typically, if we look at the table one that we just saw, in Prismic, we are going to work on something that looks like the other image. Please, Pierre. Something like this. So basically allowing to get tables inside the page builder. Tabs inside the page builder so that you can have a representation of this nesting. We are looking at buttons cases. We are looking at how can you have more flexibility in repeating items. But for us, the central part is not only about offering more flexibility to developers. We want that. We want to simplify your work. But what is central for us at Prismic is that we want to kind of find the right balance and solve this tension between flexibility for developers and ease of use for marketing team. We are concerned or we care about the fact that if we increase the flexibility for developer to have deeply nested item like nested group in nested group in nested group in nested group, it might hurt very, very very heavily the ease of use of the page builder. That is one of the important point of Prismic, like the ease of use, the UX, the UI that you all talk about. And to preserve that UX, basically we have to take those decisions that are sometimes conflicting between more flexibility and ease of use. So the way we are going to approach this subject is always to assess those solutions with the marketing team and use methods to actually assess the ease of use of those technologies to solutions so that we can define the best solution to solve those use cases. And that's going to be the work during the quarter and release a few of those solutions during the quarter. So you should see a lot of movement on that front in the next 3 months.
Yeah. So basically, we went for slices to simplify the modeling, to say, okay, well, guess what? Websites are sections. Every website is made of these sections, and modeling a website as sections will simplify the whole process so that you kind of have this, you break it into these simpler units. Well, people like that. But then say, okay, well, how about in my section? So in my slice,
I want more.
I want tabs.
Right.
Okay, can I have that? I say, okay, well, cool. Let's start supporting that. Or the other cases that you talked about.
Buttons, like repeatable buttons. Typically.
Yeah, but what we are committed on is that the resulting experience should be simple.
Exactly.
To the marketing people that are going to spend their time doing that. So that's we're committed to. So we're not going to make any more power without assessing how simple it is for the marketing teams. And that's what Prismic is anyway, right? This is a decision we took, is that marketing teams are shaping experiences. Okay, so we need to give them the tools to be able to reason about what they're doing, right? And also developers that use Prismic care a lot about the experience that they're delivering to marketing people. So that's who we are. That's our community. That's who we are. And we want to be true to who we are. So that's why it's a little bit of work, but we're going to get solutions that strike this balance very well. So simplicity of experience is on the top of our priority.
And so for that, we need a few people to actually help us assessing those solutions, both on the developer side and on the marketing side. So we'll run a few studies, like we do. So we need your help on that front to help your help to shape the best solution possible. And so you can join our research panel. That's one important part, as always, to be able to join those research and help us shape the best product for you. Now, after this opportunity, we are also assessing what's the best next step, and so we are launching a survey to understand a bit what are your main concerns. Survey that will be added to the chat. That basically concerns like is a group of the different opportunity or needs that we've uncovered with you in interviews and through our research team. And for now, we want to be able to assess a bit better, not what are the important opportunity, but what is the most important need that you have, and what is the number one topic that we should address for you. And so for that, we again need your help. And so if you could go to that survey and help us, it's just about ranking those opportunities for you. So don't try to rationalize it. Don't try to get objective. Really be subjective and tell us what you think is the most important topic. It will help us a lot.
Cool.
So that was it for DevTools and the Slice Machine team.
I think I'm sure there are many users here because that care about it, because modeling a page is not that easy, right? Modeling a given page into sections and so on. And there are times where you have to kind of start, encoding what you want in your page in what's there, and that makes the thing very complex and not understandable. But we want that modeling to be one-to-one, easy. Okay, I need tabs, I find tabs. I need a list of buttons, I find them. I need cards, I find cards. So it's going to be fun. So participating in the research also is going to be fun, because you will see the different solutions, you will play with them, you'll give your opinion. I find it a fun exercise as well.
Nice.
Yeah,
super nice. I think we've covered most of the topic or all the topic. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if there is a few questions on the chat or not from the topic that we addressed. No?
Well, let me see.
I'm gonna double check that I haven't forgot anything. No. Q&A.
So I think we did. Let me see. Yeah, well, there is one that we get asked a lot. Regarding assets.
Yes.
Can you guess? No.
About folders?
No.
Oh. No, regarding assets? I don't know. What is it? Size of assets?
Did you guys ever discuss a feature that would allow me to replace...
Okay, yes. We should have guessed that one.
Yeah, I thought so. An image with a new one instead of basically uploading a new one, then replacing it in every document separately.
Have we discussed it?
Yes, we've discussed it, yeah.
So what are the pros and what are the cons?
Great question.
Okay. We would love to understand a bit the use case. Like often what we hear is about a logo or some items. The thing that it makes it complicated, this find and replace or replace an image in Prismic, is about the fact that asset in itself can be used in different pages. Those pages can have an asset presented differently because, I don't know, in a page you might have the picture of guy that is like a wide angle type of picture. But in kind of the author page of guy in the blog, it might be a square. And so being able to know when you replace an image how it will look like and how it will fit in terms of design on all the pages where it's being replaced is kind of tricky. And so we don't know if it's actually a good idea to do this replace an image thing. What we are discussing might be the fact of knowing where an image is being used so that you can find easily the page where something is used, so that you can replace it directly and know in the context how it will look like, have the preview and ensure that the quality is good. we can find maybe other solution. Maybe that's the kind of thing where we should say, okay,
Yeah.
you're on your own sometimes, like replace the image and figure it out. If it's bad, it's bad. But we care about these things, so we want to think about it a bit more to be sure that we are not missing something bigger.
Yeah. And if you have a very specific, or if you have a use case, please just send us the use case and tell us what is it that you want to achieve with that. Now, there is the logo case, for instance. There are a few cases that could appear, but would love to hear about them to make a solution that is good for that use case. And with that, are we done?
It seems like it. So again, I'm going to repeat one thing. It's always a pleasure to have you on research call. So we have a few research items that are being open. If you want to join them, you have them in the chat. So we have a topic around reusability in agency. We have a topic about sizing our opportunity in the DevTools and Slice Machine part of the team. We have an item about assessing the ease of use of the new modeling limitations. And if you want to follow the progress of the team and see what we are working on and how it's progressing, you can access the prismic.io/progress page. And from that point, I think like it was nice. And we'll do it again in a quarter to do this recap and opening of the following one. So if no more.
There is a question.
Nice. Last
good
second.
question. So Xberna again. I'm super curious about the AI feature that adds slices.
Mhm.
How are slices suggested? What are the criteria that the AI take into consideration?
Okay.
I
So
thought you would like the question.
yeah, it's super nice. It's a super good question. So the way it works is that when you create your prompt, when you type basically your request to Prismic AI in a way, we are going to analyze the purpose of this. And like, what is the goal? We are going to try to guess or predict what is the purpose or the goal of this slice, of this prompt. Then what we do is that we are going to analyze your set of slices in a way, so based on the title, based on the description, based in the future on past used slices, to in a way determine the goal that fits also this the most this use case. And we are going to say, okay, you compare the goal of that prompt, you compare the goal of that slice typically, and now find the most appropriated slice to be able to answer the goal. Once it's done, then create the content based on the model and the constraint of that slice. So if there is a title, etc.
So for instance, if I say in the slice prompter, hey, introduce. No, I don't say hey to prompter.
I do.
Could be.
I do please.
Hey,
I say hey, and then I say please.
Like introduce this new feature.
Exactly.
Then we have different slices. One of them is hero, the other is call to action, the third is list of features. Well, introduce is matches very well with the hero, right?
Exactly.
And that's how it's going to guess that, okay, the most appropriate. But it actually gives several options anyway.
So
it gives several ways.
It doesn't today. It doesn't. It selects a slice and then create variation for that
Variation
specific
of
slice.
the content for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we have fairly good feedback and record on like the selection of slice, good accuracy on the content. What we like is the fact that we have different type of content that you can select from and then start iterating. And so that's why the iterate on slice feature is interesting to refine the content. But no, like introduce works well. That's something that people often do.
Or list.
List works well. What works well? Like encourage user to sign in. Like they will understand that it's close to a call to action, stuff like that. So the same way as like you will talk to again intern or user or human, like create the page, it will do. And so that's how it works. The main problem that we have with the prompt to slice feature today is not that. It's actually the fact that a few people that we introduced it to thought it was a search based on the pattern, UI pattern that we introduced. So they are not typing prompt, they are more typing search. So we need to improve a bit our UI and the design so that actually people don't understand it's a search, but more something to prompt. And so
but there are also other situations where people use the slice prompter to create content for developers.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
like
Slice
that's
Machine.
the biggest users. So we were not anticipating that, but the biggest usage and the biggest users were actually developers that were testing the boundaries of the slices, like typing like. Create seven testimonial for whatever, a bit one long, one short, etc. to test what are the boundaries of their component to know if if the component can fit on long content or short content. And they don't have to do it themselves, and it's good looking, so they can demo it themselves like this. So good discovery.
Okay. Do you still want to take more questions?
Yeah, I'm happy.
It's a little
It's
bit late
it's the
here.
point of the
It's a
Q&A.
little-
Let's do the last one, maybe.
Yeah, one last. Since we asked Thomas or Thomas, I would say Thomas, to ask to repeat his question. Says, do you know when you will tackle the overwriting issue of Slice Machine when working in collaboration? Because we started working on that.
Yeah. So yes. Do we know when we'll start? We started. Do we know when we'll be done? We hope by the end of the year we'll have a decent and solid solution and foundation on this. We already have a few actually solutions that you can work around with environment, but that's not where we want to go. It's a bigger and more, let's say, thorough problem that we thought in terms of architecture and complexity in Prismic. So we are working on it today, and we expect this to be more end of year timeline in terms of solution. But we are working on it. It's already something that we are working on, and we actually worked quite a lot on it in the past.
So the main idea is that we want to have it very close to how you work with Git.
Yep.
So we have the plan.
Yep.
We researched it as well.
Yep.
We need to get certain things going, like the platform
migration of the
changes
database.
also. That will help us progress much faster on this.
Exactly.
So
But it's
in
clearly
the works.
something super important, and
it's
in the
important for
work.
us and
Yes.
important for a lot of users to expect a change there. Okay.
And thank you, Thomas, for the question.
Yeah, it's very, very, very good question.
Yeah.
Okay, can I take one last?
Okay,
question?
one last.
Okay. When are you going to update the Prismic migration docs to help developers troubleshoot?
So the migration API docs, Prismic migration
For troubleshooting, yes.
for troubleshooting. Elena, when are we going? When are we going to do that?
Currently, we have one update that's pending. It will be live soon, but yeah, that is actually one of the focus of
Yes.
Q2 for us. So maybe you can even reach out to me and outline like what you're missing. That would be actually wonderful, so we can get a better idea of what you want to know. Because I think also when we implemented. We implemented validation and validation errors, quite detailed validation errors actually in the migration API. But if you use scripts, oftentimes you're not actually getting those more detailed error messages because of the way that you're kind of calling the migration API. Yeah, I think we've heard this quite often, like, hey, I didn't get any error message. And when I go in Postman, I have a very detailed error message. So I think that's one of the things that we need to update there. In terms of what I heard, we also want to give you much more, more examples of how you can achieve certain things. Like we have a little script in there around how you can do bulk updates, so how you can retrieve the content from the document API and then update it. And I think we need more of that. But I'm happy to even talk more in detail about that with you. So reach out.
You have the email in the chat, so reach out
Yeah.
to Elena.
Very good.
And yeah, to double down on this, like even though we had 20,000 documents created in the migration API this month, like the main thing that we are seeing is that we have people that are trying out and not succeeding in do those calls, and we want everyone to succeed doing those calls. So it's the main focus next quarter.
Cool. Great. And to Thomas, yes, the workaround is using environment. That's exactly what we said.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, before we get other questions, I guess we have to stop here. It's already late in here. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for the questions that you had.
Yeah.
Please try to ask us the next time the questions
Earlier.
so we can handle all of them. But I know that by the end you have the content, and that's why you ask by the end. So anyway, that's great. Thank you for your questions. It makes the content that we're producing more relevant for you. And thank you everyone for being here. Thanks Pierre-Yves and Nuha behind the scenes for organizing everything. And see you next month.
See you.